So when you think about the AI revolution, your mind probably jumps to these incredible algorithms or, super powerful computer chips. But today, we're going to peel back the curtain and look at the hidden infrastructure that actually makes it all possible. And we're going to do it using a really fascinating new report from Goldman Sachs. All right, let's get into it.
AI runs on light. I know, it sounds kind of poetic, right? But it's literally true. Every single time an AI model is learning something or answering one of your questions inside a giant data center, its thoughts are traveling at the speed of light. And that is all thanks to one tiny, absolutely crucial component. And here it is, the optical transceiver. Seriously, if a data center's GPUs are the brains, then these little things are the high-speed nervous system. They're what's firing pulses of light to connect everything, letting all those powerful brains talk to each other almost instantly. Without them, you just have a bunch of lonely geniuses in a box. Okay, so here's the plan for this explainer. First, we'll talk a bit more about the role these components play. Then, we'll dive into Goldman's big call and what's driving it right now. After that, we'll look at the future, and finally, we'll wrap up with what this all means for the bigger picture of the AI gold rush.
In any gold rush, there are a couple of ways to get rich. You can be one of the lucky few who actually strikes gold, or you can be the person selling the picks and shovels to all the miners. Well, in this AI boom, optical transceivers are, without a doubt, the essential picks and shovels.
And this quote just hits the nail on the head. I mean, think about it. You can have the most powerful GPU on the planet, but if it can't communicate with thousands of other GPUs at lightning speed, all that power is just wasted. These transceivers are the absolute critical link.
And that brings us right to our source material for today, a really detailed equity research report from Goldman Sachs dated August 26, 2025. It zooms in on two key players in this space, InnoLight and Eoptolink, and, well, it makes a very, very bold call.
So for the first company, InnoLight, look at this. The analysts more than doubled their 12-month price target. Let's be clear, that's not just a minor tweak. That is a fundamental, ground-up upgrade in how they see the company's future.
And this wasn't a one-off thing. For its competitor Eoptolink, they made a similarly massive upward revision. So the report isn't just saying one company is doing well, it's pointing to a huge industry-wide shift that's happening right now.
Okay, so what in the world is behind this massive jump in confidence? What did these analysts see that made them say, whoa, we need to completely rethink our numbers?
Well, according to the report, this confidence really boils down to three core advantages, three factors that are creating a kind of perfect storm for these companies in the here and now.
So first off, there's just massive demand and not enough supply, which is great news for the biggest players who can produce at scale. Second, these companies were really smart. They built huge factories outside of China, which helps them dodge some major tariffs. And third, because demand is just so insane, prices aren't falling nearly as fast as everybody thought they would.
And just to see what that scale advantage looks like, check this out. The report uses the number of employees in these non-China factories as a way to measure capacity. And it shows InnoLight and Eoptolink are just way, way ahead of the US competition. And that overseas capacity is so crucial because it lets them sell to US customers without getting slammed by a 27.5% tariff.
Now, about that third point, pricing. This is so key. In the tech hardware game, prices almost always go down over time. It's just how it works. The analysts were originally expecting a 20% price drop every year, but now, because demand is off the charts, they only expect a 15% decline. Now, that 5% difference might not sound like a lot, but trust me, it's huge. That extra margin drops directly to the bottom line and massively boosts their profit forecasts.
So that's the short-term picture, right? But the report makes it very clear that this isn't just some temporary blip. The long-term vision is where the story gets, honestly, even more interesting. To really get the long-term case, you got to understand this one key metric the analysts use. It's called the attach ratio. It sounds technical, but it's super simple. It's just asking, for every single dollar we spend on a powerful GPU brain, how much do we also need to spend on its nervous system, the transceivers, just to make the whole thing work?
In this chart, wow, it just lays out the whole long-term thesis perfectly. What the report is projecting is that this attach ratio is actually going up. With the H100 generation of GPUs, it was about 7 cents on the dollar. For the newer GB300, it climbs to 9 cents, and they're estimating it'll be 12 cents for the future Rubin Ultra generation. The takeaway is just crystal clear. As GPUs get more and more powerful, they need proportionally more money spent on high-speed connectivity.
And if that wasn't enough, the technology itself is in this constant, relentless upgrade cycle. We're moving from 800 gigabit speeds now to 1.6 terabits, and the report is already modeling the next jump to 3.2 terabit transceivers starting around 2027. Every single new generation just creates a whole new wave of demand.
Of course, nothing's a sure thing, right? No forecast is perfect. So the report includes this great scenario analysis. Their main prediction, the base case, sees about 22% upside from here. But look at the possibilities. In a bear case, where prices fall faster than they think, they see a 38% downside. But in a bull case, where strong demand keeps prices even higher, they see a potential 101% upside. That imbalance is what investors get really excited about, an attractive risk-reward profile.
All right, so let's pull back. After digging through all this data, what's the big takeaway here? What does this all mean for the bigger picture?
Well, the big picture is that the value being created by this AI boom is spreading way, way beyond just the famous AI models, or the big-name chip makers that we all hear about every day.
And that brings us right back to that gold rush idea. This report makes a really powerful case that in this digital gold rush, some of the best, most sustainable value is being captured not by the miners themselves, but by the companies supplying the essential, high-tech plumbing that makes the whole entire operation possible.
Which really leaves you with a final thought, doesn't it? We've seen that AI is so much more than just chips. It's also about the light that connects them. It just makes you wonder, what's the next critical, hidden component out there that maybe we're all underestimating right now? What's the next piece of this incredible puzzle that's going to quietly shape our future?